No, I'm sorry. What's up? Everybody have a good Easter, I hope?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, good, good. What a day, man. What a day. Day 10 for us. So today was kind of a slow it down a little bit day and catch our breath, reteach some things. A lot of separate today. You know, we did do a third down competition to finish practice, which is good. We always have a little inside and scaling team pass mixed in, but went back and went through some specific things, game plan wise or install wise on both sides, and same thing with special teams. But Friday was a really tough practice, and I really liked how they competed. So now, you know, again, trying to get them ready for a big scrimmage on Wednesday, and you know, hopefully we can clean some of the things up that we didn't do so well last week, and so, you know, anxious to see them play, and then that'll be the last day for this week, and we'll come back and have a big finish next week with the spring game on Saturday the 9th. And you know, I mean, I really want to challenge our crowd and our fans to show up. You know, I mean, we need to. This needs to be a you know, it's going to be the last time to see Deshaun Watson, most likely, in the spring game or whoever. And, you know, show up, and you know, all of our seniors from last year's team will be there. And, man, if we can have 30,000 people show up for a pizza party, you know, we ought to have 50,000 show up for at least for a spring game. A lot of new guys, new faces. So I really want to challenge our fan base to come and enjoy a great day at Clemson. And the game's going to be at 2:30. And, you know, again, it's a big recruiting day for us as well. So hopefully we'll have a great crowd, and really, you know, start this season off the right way. We're going to win too. We're definitely going to win. But it's always a fun day that when you split the team like that, to kind of see guys in different roles and see how they respond. But it should be a great day.
Are you expecting that second scrimmage to kind of go better than that first, just because, you know, it is their second kind of reps of going through a scrimmage situation?
Well, it's day 11, so, and then, you know, last Wednesday is the first scrimmage, and plus you're coming off of spring break, and so hopefully just from a continuity standpoint, we'll be a little cleaner in some of the areas. You know, we had some snaps, we dropped some snaps. I mean, we jumped off sides about 3 times on defense, a couple times on offense, just some procedural stuff, things that we control that we got to clean up. And you know, some guys played really well. I mean, there was a lot of positive, and those, you want to see them be consistent. And then some of those guys that made some mistakes, let's don't make the same mistakes. You know, show me that you care. And the way you show me that you care is you know, how you respond and correct mistakes and your coachability and things like that. So knowing what to do, showing me that you've gone above and beyond and put some time in to get better and to be prepared. So it'll be a big day, kicking game, everything on Wednesday.
Saw one guy leaving on a cart, so that brings up, is there any injury news?
Not really. You know, we lost Baker. I think y'all all know about Baker, and his surgery went well. Zach Riggs is actually going to be done. He's going to have to take a medical. He got hurt again and going to have surgery. You know, he's had about 3 or 4 surgeries already, and he had surgery again on Friday. It's going to be a long rehab for him. He's graduating in December, so I think he's going to you know, be a medical. But you know, Baker will get back. I mean, he's moving around. They worked him pretty good today already, so he's just kind of starting that process. Corinne's getting better, doing the things that he needs to do. Mike Williams has been great all spring. He really has had a great spring for us. And just good to see. I think we've handled him the right way. His confidence is through the roof right now, which bodes well for us. He and Deshaun are really getting that chemistry down, and you know, so I think right now we're in good shape. We've had a couple of guys get we had a couple of concussions, you know, where we've had to hold some guys, but seem to be getting everybody back in.
Didn't see Nick Schuster out of practice today.
Yeah, he's out there. He gets here late. He's actually graduating in May, so he's got a couple of classes that he just has to get here late every day. He misses the meetings and he misses the first part of practice, but you know, he comes running. He's like an old dog running off the porch, man. Just jump out there and go.
You talk about that depth. What position I guess out of everything this spring, are you most pleased at that you've seen the greatest amount of growth at?
Oh man, I'm really not displeased with anybody. We're not really complete right now. We've got some guys that we're counting on, especially from a depth standpoint, that won't get here till this summer. That's why we went and recruited some of those guys. Some of them will be guys that will have to develop throughout their career, but some of them are going to have to kind of fill some voids, right away. I don't think anybody's got to come in and be the guy, but we need some guys to come in here and shore up some depth in a couple spots and give us maybe just a few more options competitively. We'll see how it all shakes out, but I can't say enough about our D tackles. I mean, I think that we got a bunch of guys that can play in there, and I see some depth emerging at the end. That's probably what I'm most pleased with, is the fact that I know Christian can play there and play very effectively there, but Austin and Cleveland and Jurgen and Register, those four guys, I'm real pleased with where they are. And then Samuel's got a ways to go. Certainly talented, but he's got to develop physically. And then we'll see where Xavier, when he gets in here. Physically, I think he's ready. We just got to see how we can bring him along. But I'm pleased with those four guys, and then Christian, what he's shown us as an end as well this spring. So, and that just again speaks to the depth that we have inside. So that's a good group, and then probably linebacker. I think that again last year, just looking at, we had Ben and BJ, and nobody else knew how to play, and that's just not the case this spring. We got a lot of guys that really understand what we're doing, and they can all function. And we weren't there this time last spring at all. We had two guys that could function, and everybody else was trying to just line up. And so that's probably the thing I'm most pleased in, is just where those guys are right now in their development stage. From Jalen and Judah and JD and Kendall and Chad Smith. All those guys are just moving very well. And then the two freshmen that just came in here, are coming on. You can just kind of see that they're starting to get it a little bit. Still a lot of little things, but you can see the progress. And then Dorian O'Daniel is going to be he's going to be, I think, a difference maker for us. It's just like the light is on and bright for him right now, and he's ready to take that next step. So, I'm really pleased with that group.
Saw Mark Fields taking some kick returns. He looked pretty smooth. What's your assessment, and do you see him returning punts at all?
We're still working on him. I don't see him returning punts. He's a guy we worked a little bit, started working him some in kickoff return last year. We'll continue to look at him. He's got to kind of earn that. We've got to be able to trust him back there, but I don't really see him doing any punt return for us.
After the way you guys, after finishing so high last year, do you get a sense that the players don't have to be prodded to have a good practice? They're at the point now where they prod themselves, basically.
Well, I think that's just the culture around here. The guys, there's an expectation when we come to work, and that goes back 7 years. We work really hard, and whether it's coaching the coaches or setting the standard for the players. We're going to practice the right way, and we're going to bring the energy each and every day, and we're going to demand certain things be done a certain way, and we don't get away from that. And so it's just what we do, But these guys, they know what it takes, and they're committed to being the best they can be. I don't have any doubt about that with this group.
How does that make you feel, knowing that you lose a guy like Dodd and Lawson, but you're most pleased with how the defensive ends are looking and tackles?
Well, it makes me feel good. Last year we had 6 D linemen go on to the NFL, 6 seniors, and we lost Corey Crawford, DeMar's Barnes, and Vic Beasley, and I'm sitting here going, well, we got Dodd and Shaq, they're going to be okay. That was really all we had. Everybody else was theory. They weren't even here. Austin Bryant and Cleveland, those guys, and Register with, he was hurt, and he was trying to move from linebacker, and Jurgen was trying to learn how to play. We're in a better place right now than we were last year. Even though we had Shaq and Dodd, we just have more people that can play. And again, I think we don't necessarily have the experience of those two guys, but I think, as I've said many times, the competition and the competitive depth and the amount of guys that I think will have the ability to play for us is going to hopefully keep us from holding our breath every snap, like we had to do, kind of half of the season until we got guys ready to play. By the end of the year, guys were ready to play, but we were very fortunate last year that we didn't have to rely on some of those true freshmen to go be starters right out of the gate because they weren't ready. But that was the hand we were dealt. Whereas this year, again, I just think that we'll have more people that'll be ready to play when we play Auburn. And we won't have the experience, but I do think that we'll have guys ready to go play.
You kind of alluded to the fact that the spring game might be the last time that fans get to see Deshaun in that environment. Do you and him talk much about what his future is or what he needs to accomplish before then?
Absolutely. We talk all the time, and then I always have an exit interview after spring with everybody on the team. It's a full evaluation academically, off the field, weight room, nutrition, plan for the summer, football, position stuff, whatever, housing. I mean, you name it. We talk about everything. But Deshaun came in here with a plan. I mean, he's going to graduate in 3 years, and that's what he's doing. He and Artavis and Gallman, Artavis is graduating in December 3 years, and that was his plan. And I think that was, it's great when you have focused people like that, hopefully those guys stay healthy and have that opportunity to move on. But I'm really proud of them. We talk about everything.
You think his game is at or close to that level of being ready to play at the next level? Yeah. That was probably a dumb question.
Did you ask me the Clemsoning question? Aren't you the same guy?
Hey,
I couldn't resist.
That was months ago.
I couldn't resist. No, man, he there's a lot of, let me tell you, there's a lot of the teams that would like to have him this year, I promise you. His game translates to wherever. If you're gonna play football on Mars, he'll translate there. He's unbelievable. He really is. But the best part, as y'all know, he's a 10-star player and a 20-star person. He really is, and that's what makes him so much fun to be around every day. He's just always the same. He's always prepared. He's always working. I mean, you don't graduate in college from 3 years. I mean, it's just incredible, with the type of expectations and all the things that he does to be able to balance all that. That's just what makes him so special. It's just how he's wired. He gets it, he takes such pride in who he is and his own personal brand and what he represents and the things that are important to him. The football part is the easy part for him.
Jadar Johnson was saying a little while ago that he kind of took it personally that he didn't get as many snaps last year. He took it because he felt like he'd done what he was supposed to. Have you seen a different edge out of him? Somebody's looking to prove something?
Yes, I've seen a completely different focus. Sometimes you have addition by subtraction. And all of a sudden, a couple guys are not in the equation and it's like, okay. And all of a sudden, man, he's just blossoming and stepped up. He's really answered the call for us this spring. I'm proud of Jadar. I really am, and he is really doing a good job for us, and is poised to have a big summer, and I think a big season. He just got a different body language, different attitude, different look in his eye, and that's what happens with a lot of these guys. Same thing happened with Dodd. It's the same thing. All of a sudden, a couple guys are removed, and it's just a different deal. And I'm hoping that Jadar will be kind of that Kevin Dodd for us this year, that guy that just puts it all together. And man, by the end of the year, everybody's going, man, where'd this guy come from? Because Jadar has the ability. He's got the talent to be, as good as anybody we've had back there. He can do it all.
You said one of the first things y'all did as coaches in spring was to show them film of the big plays that got allowed last year. How much has that been a focus of, hey, we were top 10 unit, we might have been number 1 unit if we could have gotten rid of some of these?
Well, that was the difference. Yeah. I mean, we had 71 plays of 20 yards or more. I think we played 986 snaps or something like that of defense and gave up, 4,600 plus yards on 980 something. But on 71 plays, we gave up 2,500 yards. That's 50% of the total yardage on 71 plays. You know, so and we're a top 10 defense. So yeah, I mean that's the difference. And is it guys making great plays? That's ball. I don't know. You know, nobody. I mean, that's just, you know, tip your hat to the next guy. Sometimes guys just make great plays, but when it's guys not doing what they're supposed to do, not lining up the right way, eyes not on the wrong thing. So those are things we have to evaluate as a staff. What do we got to do better as coaches? You know, what do the players have to do better? You know, the type of accountability and ownership. You know, just because you definitely want to minimize the big plays. That's all part of the game. But again, when they're you know, unearned, you know, bust type big plays, those are the things that frustrate the heck out of you as a defensive coach. And our players have really taken that to heart. I think that they understand that, you know, to get to where we want to go, it's a few plays that make the difference. And so we want to control what we control. And again, somebody may make a play, but let's make sure they earn it. You know, let's don't have our eyes on the wrong things, and let's not let it be because you know, we didn't do our job, and we let, you know, one guy's not doing his job and 10 guys are. Let's make sure all 11 guys are on the same page, because then you got a chance, and then they just got to be better than you. You know, so. You know, it's just like in our national championship game. Alabama didn't have any busts. They didn't even busted. We didn't have guys running free. We earned every yard we got. We earned it, and that's okay. You know, and it's frustrating because we that's one of the regrets that we have is we feel like that you know, we could have done a better job in certain areas, and you know, that's accountability for all of us. You know, because my job is why and how we fix it, and you know, so. I think that that's kind of how we started this thing off. You know, let's control what we control. We know we're good enough, so let's control the things that we control and give ourselves the best chance. And you don't have a big margin for error when you're trying to be the best. And you know, it cost us in one game. You know, we had a great year and had a good game. We just had a couple of mistakes, and you know, they didn't.
I understand Ryan Carter's back at corner, presumably because of Adrian's injury. He seems to be fine with that, and he's so versatile. But is that something that you foresee to continue moving him back and forth as needed?
Yeah,
How unique is that to be able to have a guy that can?
We've had guys that could do that. I mean, you know, Marcus Gilchrist was a guy that played all over for us, and you know, Ryan. First of all, it just speaks to his intelligence as a player. You know, his instincts as a player. He's a smart football player, and then his ability to tackle. You know, you move a guy back there to safety, you know, with what we do, you got to be able to support on the run. Most of the time, corners, they're not. You take some of these corners, you put them back to safety, they disappear on you quick because they're typically not tacklers. But Ryan Carter shows up. And he always has, to be honest with you. He's a physical kid. He can play either corner and he can play either safety. I mean, he's just he understands our system and gives us a lot of flexibility. So I mean, I'm proud of Ryan, but we're working at both. But I tell you, the guy I'm proud of is Marcus Edmond. You know, I mean, he's same thing. Going to be a junior. He's a lot like Cody Sensabaugh was, just kind of, you know, getting a little better. Got to develop physically, and all of a sudden you look up and. Wow. I mean, I just saw Cody Sensabaugh sign for $15 million, 3 year, $15 million. He didn't play here until his 5th year here. And I remember talking to the scouts before the year, and I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, maybe. I said he can run, but he's just going to have to put it together. Hadn't really seen him be physical yet. He's got to put it together, and buddy did he. You know, by the end of the year, you're like, hey, we want Cody on. Who's their guy? That's who Cody's got, you know. And now he's, you know, the rest is history. You know, 4th round pick. He's had a great career, and I'm proud of Marcus. Marcus is a guy that can play, and he's just kind of been that developing guy. And oftentimes we forget about those guys because everybody's looking for Mark Fields, everybody's looking for Mackenzie Alexander, everybody's looking for these guys that are just, you know, physically gifted, and you forget about Kevin Dodd, you forget about Marcus Edmond, Cody Sensabaugh. You forget about those guys, B.J. Goodson's, and but those guys are all improving and getting better. And you know, Marcus and Ryan and Cordray and Mark Fields. That's a really good group. And then Baker's going to be back. That's a solid group. All those guys can play, and then you add in some of the guys that are coming in here. We're going to be just fine.
All set.